life does not end when you are crowned as first runner-up. And there's still an entire ocean of opportunities that wait for you to be ready to explore that. You don't just stop at asking why. Sometimes you tend to ask yourself, am I not enough? And to also create a life for my parents who've always been there.
Oh. Oh. Uy, wait lang ako. No. Hi, Samber Nation and Sambayanan. This is Samber and welcome to another episode of the Sam Up. And for today, we have Pauline Amelinckx!
Thank you.
Thank you so much for saying yes.
Thank you for asking me. It's so nice to do this with you.
Yung minessage kita, ang reply mo, what an honor. But truly, what an honor for you to
No,
be
it's so nice. And I feel like this is going to be such a nice space today to talk about all the different things that we've been through in life as first runner-ups.
I know! Kasi first time we met was in an event, judging event, di ba? And
I
then,
think last year.
oo.
Like actually met each other
in
and
person.
talked, yes.
Oo. Tapos parang sabi ko, wow, ang dami mo talagang wisdom and I hope I can really collab with you. And finally, we are here.
You know what? I had the same thoughts about you when we first started talking. I was like, oh my God, like I can relate to this woman. Everything she says resonates with me. Like I'm so happy I got to meet her. And
yeah.
totoo, like,
Parang naging therapy na.
I guess it was just so hard for us to really like connect.
Yes.
Like for the to at least set touch base the first time
Yes.
kasi you're with Binibini and I was with another pageant also.
Yes.
So we never really had the chance to cross paths. So events talaga.
And then syempre parang 5 years ago ako, tapos ikaw medyo recent. Pero nagkikita tayo.
5 years na ba for you?
Yes, it's been 5 years. Di lang halata, girl.
No, it's not, diba?
Hindi,
Look at
joke
her.
So yun, pero I really like to talk about like being first runners up here. Oh my God!
Parang
We
it's
want to be
written-
vulnerable
yeah.
here. Oh!
It's written on our hearts already.
Yeah, kasi naalala ko, nag-trending ka nun. Tapos nagugulat ako, bakit ang dami nagtatag sa akin? Tapos that time, hindi na ako masyadong active sa pageant. Tapos parang nag-trending yung, I'm always there but never good enough. Tapos umiyak ka. Tapos
yung PPP mo.
Oo,
yes.
tapos sabi ko, oh my gosh, first runner-up si Pauline, shucks, bakit? Ganon. Was there a moment in your life na parang lagi mong iniisip, bakit din na ikaw first runner-up?
Of course. I mean, if it happens once, maybe not so much. But if it's happened multiple times, like for us, of course, you start asking why. And you don't just stop at asking why. Sometimes, and you need to stop yourself when that happens. But sometimes you tend to ask yourself, am I not enough? Is what I did not enough? And of course, yes, I've been through all those questions before, and I always needed to sit myself down and surround myself with the right people for them to help ground me and tell me, no, you are enough. And you've done everything that you could in that moment. It just so happens that it's through the judge's eyes that they'll score you, and they perhaps don't actually get to see the majority of what you've been through in your journey, what you've actually exerted, the resources that you spent. So it's a different set of eyes, and they'll never really know what you've exerted and what you've spent on the journey. But at the end of the day, as long as you know that you've given it your best, you've given it your all, and you've done everything in good faith, then you need to find peace with the results.
Yes. I think yun yung pinaka-challenge as being a first runner-up. Kasi dati, yung interview ko din, parang sabi nila, oh, okay lang yan first runner-up, mabuti ka nga first runner-up. Pero sabi ko kasi yun yung pinaka-masakit.
Yeah.
Not only it happens once, twice, or thrice. Kasi parang, baka may mali lang talaga sa'yo. So yun napapaisip ka.
Of course.
But do you think na when you seated down, you said, you reflect and you become grounded, ano yung mga tumatakbo sa isip mo?
Many things. Like you start to, it's like an entire cycle. Like so first you start to doubt yourself. You go through a bit of grieving process, maybe because it's months of preparation that you've gone through, and then you only had one goal in mind. And of course, it feels. People don't like to look at it as a loss, but it kind of feels sometimes like a loss. And sometimes you yourself feel like you're at a loss also because you don't know what to do next.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you're grieving, you're doubting, and you're trying to plan and figure out what you want to do next in life.
Yes.
that age-old question, do I do it again?
I know! Lalo ngayon walang age limit. Actually, feeling ko nga mas maganda yung dati na may age limit. Para sa akin lang as an old queen. Kasi parang merong
old queen? Ano
as
ba
an
yan?
old queen. Yeah.
OG, yeah.
OG queen. Hindi kasi parang at least meron akong peace on my mind na okay, it's just a season of my life and it
Yes.
stops there.
Yeah.
But now that it's open for all, parang
That question
wait.
pops back in your head.
Yeah,
I know.
parang oh my God. Pero it's also nice kasi there's more opportunities for a lot of girls
Yeah, that's true.
whose dreams are like on pause or
Exactly.
baka gusto lang talaga nilang ngayong season na to, iba naman yung drive nila. But ikaw ba, ano yung stand mo
Nako,
regards that?
I can relate so much to what you just said because when I joined Miss Universe Philippines for the third time, my age limit pa at that time. So I could really tell
So last
myself,
na yun, diba?
yes, in my head talaga, I was like, this is it, this is my last, I'm gonna go for it, no regrets.
Yeah.
And then right after that, they removed the age limit, I'm like, oh, so what now? So what now talaga? And I mean, I agree that with what you said earlier, it gives you like a hard stop for that in life kung may age limit. But on the other hand, there's a lot of women who never had that opportunity while they were young, but
Yes.
still had that dream in them. And it's of course very nice as long as all organizations truly are holding up that inclusivity and really take that to heart, then I think it can be a beautiful thing to allow women of all ages to join and to make perhaps a childhood dream come true that
Yes.
way and truly add to the meaning of being limitless as a woman.
Especially now, open na siya for mothers and also for
Exactly.
trans queens. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. Like I have never felt insecure because a mother would join Miss Universe Philippines or a trans queen would join Miss Universe Philippines, and they all just bring different aspects of what it means to be a woman.
Yeah.
And I think that all of us can learn from it, not just as candidates, but everyone else that's also watching. And hopefully other mothers or other trans people or trans women can find a message that resonates with them, and it's not just the single woman experience that counts there. Like
That's true.
it's such an inclusive and such a platform for different stories from different types of women to really be amplified.
And it's really empowering kasi now we have like single mothers who are joining.
Exactly.
We have also senior citizens,
I know.
trans women.
And imagine all the wisdom. Like, let's take an example. If a single mother joins, imagine all the wisdom that she can bring to the stage. Being a single mother herself, like those are challenges that a lot of us just don't know anything about.
And woman now is so broad.
Yeah.
Womanhood is also broad. So yeah.
That's true. So I'm very open to that. I'm happy for it. And it allows people like us to also have something that we could look forward to if ever we decide. If ever.
If ever.
That's a big if, but it's still an if.
Ama! Baka meron tayong Amelinckx dito. Oh my God! I'm so excited for you, and whatever you choose, sana talaga ma-achieve mo yun. But is it like your dream talaga ever since?
Oh.
To be a beauty queen?
I had two phases in my childhood that I can really look back at. One was a very boyish phase. Boyish to the sense na ayaw ko mag-skirt, ayaw ko mag-dress, pants only. Not even shorts. Yes, that was my boyish phase. But I can also remember, and my aunts and my uncles and my mom can attest to this, I also had a very girly phase. And I can remember there was a time when I was a kid that I would walk in our backyard, different dresses, and I would introduce myself as a queen from different countries.
Oh! Yun
So,
yung laro mo nung bata
yes,
ka?
when I was like 7 maybe. I think my boyish phase was after that. But when I was 6, 7, I was super girly also. Yan naman baliktad. I would not want to wear pants or shorts, always cutesy dresses.
May season pala.
So it's been, I think maybe I played with it in my head when I was a kid, really, really young. But as I entered college, it was never in any of my bingo cards. It really just, the opportunity just presented itself when I was in college. Alam mo yung Miss Intramural?
Yes!
It was my first pageant. So very, very secure, very safe setup kasi it's school pageant and everything. And, plus points.
Yeah, plus points.
Plus points for the subjects if you need them, of course. And from there on, I kind of, I saw or I I discovered in me a part that liked performing, and I never thought about that before because I was such a shy kid. I considered myself a wallflower, but I found in myself a part that really liked performing. And then every time the opportunity presented itself, like I would never look for the opportunities, but someone will always approach me
Yep.
and they would ask me, do you want to join this? Do you want to join that? And in my head, I was like, yeah, okay, let's
Why
try.
not?
Let's see where this takes me.
Yeah.
And then eventually, like, you climb up the ladder from a school pageant, you join a municipal pageant, regional, provincial, all the way to national and then international. And if you told 6-year-old Pau Pau, she would have probably been amazed, but also had a look of disbelief on her face, siguro.
Yeah. I really believe na parang nung bata tayo, may mga dreams tayo na innate sa atin. Tapos, pagtanda natin, mag-resonate natin na, kaya pala ganito.
Yes.
Ano yung para sa'yo?
It will make sense
Yeah.
that way.
Was it pageantry for you, or was it something else like hosting or pursuing other things?
Hosting, I'm not even sure because, like I said earlier, I was such a shy kid. And even now, my friends who also know that I'm actually more of an introvert, when they see me host on stage, they're like, that's a different Pau Pau.
Yeah?
So it's really something that I can switch on when I know that, okay, this is work time, work mode, I need to be the extrovert Pau Pau. But when I'm really just by myself, I'm more of an introverted person. I like just being at home.
Or you ambivert? Kasi ako ambivert ako eh.
I wouldn't even consider it ambivert.
Did you
because-
take the test? Maybe.
No, you send me a link.
Yeah, send you.
Send me a link so I
Kasi
can be sure.
ambivert is like parang combination siya ng
Both.
introvert and an extrovert.
Yeah.
And then I thought I am extrovert, pero hindi
You're
pala ambivert. Sabi ko,
Okay.
that's interesting.
Okay,
Yeah.
send me a link because
Yeah.
I personally I actually just identify as an introvert because I really just get my energy from being alone and by having time by myself, not necessarily from other people. But let's see what the test says when you send me the link. I will let you know.
Yes.
We will let all of you know.
Yes, sige. I-update natin. Comment down below kung introvert ba kayo or extrovert or
Yes.
ambivert. Ayan. So ito, for my next question, how do you put every setback into a stepping stone in your life? Kasi parang never kita nakitang nag-stop. And even after like being first runner-up, I think also that's me. Parang there's always fire in us.
Yeah.
Pero ikaw, paano mo nare-reignite yun? Kasi there are moments na talagang malulugmok ka. Like parang ako nung
What's
second...
lugmok?
Ay, sorry, ang hirap. Wait lang. Guys, ang English na lugmok. Parang
Wait lang.
madi-depress ka ng konti. Parang
okay,
you're like
yes.
feeling down.
Mm.
Oy, nala. Lugmok pala.
Lugmok.
Is it deep
That's the
Tagalog?
word of the day.
Lugmok.
Tagalog
Oo.
ba yan?
Tagalog.
Lugmok.
Malalim na Tagalog
Okay.
siya, no? Na
Mas
parang
malalim.
lugmok na mas extreme sa sad. Yung parang you're really feeling
Okay.
down.
So it's
Sad
not,
and then
it's
feeling
not even
down.
malungkot. So, malungkot.
Feeling down talaga.
Lugmok.
Yeah,
Okay.
lugmok. So, yun. Naalala ko, after nung talo ko nung binibini, although a-attend naman talaga ako ng wedding nun, talagang I went to Singapore kasi parang I can't face anyone here.
Mm.
Parang I wanna take a break for myself.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, we allow ourselves to feel what we feel in that moment. Mahirap din to just brush those feelings off and to set that aside.
And
I
it's
don't
not
think
healthy.
It's not healthy,
Yeah.
exactly. So, it's important that you allow yourself to feel it, but also for you to find a way out of it through whatever that may be for you. Because even with me sa Miss Supranational, I spent the next 10 days going around Europe before I went back to the Philippines because I wanted to decompress, sit with my emotions, also reflect a little bit more. And it was a good time, and I also spent it with friends, so that was very, very meaningful for me as well. But
Same with me.
Right?
I traveled in Thailand for 3 months. Nasobrahan nata. Kasi pandemic. Sabi ko, todo ko to.
of course, I mean, it's normal. Like,
Yeah.
we're not gonna tell you to not feel what you feel in those moments. It's important that you allow yourself to feel those moments, but then also reflect, like, what will I now do with these feelings? Will I try one more time to have no regrets? Or is this the moment where, just like Catriona said, where I allow myself to be redirected to something else, which could still be as good or even better than what you initially wanted to attain.
Amen.
Amen.
Yeah.
And I think it's also important in that moment you allow yourself to be selective with who you keep around you, because you also don't want people to constantly push you when you're not ready yourself. Because of course people will always tell you, first runner-up ka na, like, go ka na for the next year. It's like, wait lang, bago lang natapos yung pageant, pahinga mo na ako. So, allow yourself to be surrounded by people who understand your space, understand where you're at, and who will nurture you enough to such a point that they will never force you to do anything that you feel you're not ready to do yet at that moment.
gusto ko yung sinabi mo na yun, surround yourself with good people. Kasi that's gonna be a very vulnerable part of your journey.
Yeah.
And if you're surrounded by bad people that will not align to your values, you can be lead to a different direction.
Yes.
And then sometimes you can have a story of victim story for yourself and not a
we don't
victor
want that.
story.
We
And we don't want that. And that's why yun yung nakikita ko talaga sa'yo, Pao, na parang even after that, you soar high and then it doesn't define you. Yeah, totoo. Same. Kasi I think yun talaga yung gusto kong message with this podcast ng episode natin na nakikita ko kasi talaga yung ibang queens na pag natatalo sila, they just give up on other dreams.
That's true.
And they keep on trying the pageantry. And for me, I will tell you guys na kahit matalo kayo on your pageants, that's just gonna be a stepping stone for other things that can be lead to your real purpose or real passion.
I am taking notes.
Diba? Kaya nga sinasabi natin, become a victor of your own story and not a victim.
I love
Yes!
I love that. I'm gonna keep that in my mind. Be the victor of your own story.
Diba? Kasi ang dali natin sabihin, kasi ganito ganyan. You will be resentful about the things that cost in your life.
Yeah.
Pero sa akin kasi, parang I always keep it positive. Kung nanalo ako ng MJ, hindi ako makapag-PBB. Kung di PBB, hindi ako makapag-asawa.
Yeah.
Alam mo yun?
There's always good things that will
Yes.
happen from even the not so good moments in your life.
Yes.
Or moments that you wish would have ended differently.
And it builds character.
Yeah.
Diba yung sinabi mo na parang lahat ng yun nagli-lead sa another story.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's so true. So it's never the title or the runner-up or the placement that you have that will define you. It's what you choose to do afterwards that will define who you are and that will then lay the next stones or next steps for what you can do next in life.
Oh, ang ganda nun. So ito, it leads me to my next question.
Yes.
Do you think the crown defines a queen
No.
or the journey itself?
Hard no on that. The crown does not define the queen.
Okay, so what is a queen for you?
A queen, I mean, I think based on your question, it's truly the journey that will define the queen. The journey towards that moment. And then whether or not you win, as what I mentioned earlier, it's also what you do afterwards that will then define you. Because that's just one moment, one thing, one aspect of life. And that's just like the tip of the iceberg, the cherry on top if ever you have a very nice Sunday. But it's everything else leading up and everything afterwards. Kasi yes, it's important that you work very hard in your journey going towards that crown. But afterwards, of course, you need to work hard for the title itself. But you also need to then work on your gratitude. And it's in that gratitude that you'll be able to, I think, foster better relationships and create even more opportunities with you afterwards.
Ikaw talaga yung nagna-navigate ng sarili mong life, no?
Of course,
Yeah.
yes.
So it's really the
Take the
journey.
wheel.
So sabi
Like
nga
Jesus,
nila,
but take the wheel.
gusto ko yun.
Yeah.
Jesus takes
Jesus
the wheel.
But you also.
Yeah.
You're with Jesus in that, of course. You have to be mindful because I also said this in my Miss Supra journey. It's never a one-woman journey. So the people that you had with you in the journey who helped really lift you up and build you up are the same people you need to give thanks to afterwards and keep on working on that relationship afterwards as your form of giving back.
Oh, ito naman. How do you keep showing up with resilience pag sobrang down na down ka na talaga?
That's tough. That's tough. And we sometimes experience that in our everyday lives, the challenge of simply showing up for yourself.
Yes.
And I'm a struggling perfectionist sometimes, so there are times where I tell myself, if I'm not feeling 100% ready, I don't want to do it. If I don't feel 100% maganda, I don't want to show up. But I'm trying to, even now, at the age of 29, turning 30, always reminding myself, even if I'm not 100% prepared, even if I don't feel my best today, I can still choose to show up for myself and make it work from there. Even if you don't feel your best, even if you're not 100%, showing up for yourself is already such an achievement. And it'll allow you to propel yourself towards other opportunities. Because you will 100% miss every opportunity that you don't shoot at, that you don't show up for. So show up for yourself every time.
Oh, I think that's really the resilience parang, and also the discipline. Kasi it's so easy to show up when you're feeling at your best.
Yes.
Pero the discipline talaga to be showing up,
Yep.
that's really a true
Yes.
resilience.
And I feel that every day when I want to work out.
Yeah, I know, I saw you. Sabi ko, grabe, nag-host siya, guys. Tapos bago siya mag-host, nag-workout. Sabi ko, ay, iba si ate. Ako yung napagod sa workout, napagod na ako agad. But that's your, parang routine.
That's my routine.
Oh, yeah,
And that's
galing.
where the discipline comes in.
Mhm.
Like, I also thought before that discipline meant showing up with 100% of yourself every time. But then over the years, I also realized that no, discipline is actually showing up for yourself, even if you're just at 50, even if you're just at
Yes.
60. Sometimes allowing yourself to take a calculated rest
Mhm.
in between also is still part of discipline, because rest can also be very productive.
Yes! Oh, talaga naman. Ang ganda nun. At saka meron din akong nabasa na parang sabi nila, like for example, you don't feel 100% today and then you just feel 40%. But you give that 40% throughout the whole day.
Yeah.
And that means you're showing up with your 100%.
Yeah. That
So,
40% is your 100%.
Yes,
already.
on that day. So that is showing up. May
Yes.
natutunan tayo today. What's one lesson of your journey as being first runner-up taught you? Parang akin din yung question.
Kasi notes lang
Hero
tayo
din pala.
dyan. Yeah. Life does not end when you are crowned as first runner-up. And there's still an entire ocean of opportunities that wait for you to be ready to explore that. And it's the same thing as, or it's very similar to what we talked about earlier also, about not being defined by just a title or a placement. And I know that it's going to be a heartbreak for many people, and we relate to that also.
Masakit talaga.
Masakit talaga. But it does not define us. And if you allow yourself to look past just the title, just the crown, then you'll see that there's an entire person also of you that can still grow, not necessarily in that same direction, but perhaps through another avenue. Like,
yes.
but for us was hosting, I think.
Yes.
And we can definitely create our own opportunities. Aside from that, like that journey was definitely just a stepping stone. It might not have been the main journey of your life in that moment, but it will definitely lead you to something that perhaps might be better for you even.
Yun din talaga yung sinasabi ko, na parang life is not always about winning, and we define our own way.
Yes.
Kumbaga, every journey that you have, ikaw lang yung makakapagsabi sa'yo kung panalo ka or hindi.
Yep.
Kaya kahit anong sabihin sa'yo ng ibang tao, natalo ka, na ganito, hindi yun magde-define
That's
sa'yo.
right. It's the mindset also.
Yeah.
If you have a winner's mindset, then you will never take that then you will never take first runner-up as a loss.
Yeah.
If you have that winner mindset.
So, kung meron kang advice sa mga taong nanonood sa atin na they're in their life na they never felt enough, ano yung gusto mong sabihin sa kanila?
First things first, you are enough. You have always been enough, and you will always be enough. And once you realize that yourself, it's like you're unlocking all your potential, because you're not letting other people's limitations, perhaps even your own limitations, hinder you from accessing your full potential in life. And I hope that you know that, or I hope that you look forward to meeting that stronger version of you after every hurdle, after every challenge that you then choose to take head on. And I hope that you never tire showing up for yourself. Always remember that you are worthy, and you will always be.
Oh, ang ganda nun. Parang nakakaiyak. Siguro, wala na akong madadagdag doon sa sinabi mo. It's super perfect. Pero di ba pag nasa moment ka talaga na, ako kasi pag nasa moment ako na gusto kong umiyak, malungkot ako, parang gusto ko talaga i-blanket yung lungkot. Ikaw ba? Ganun din ikaw? Yung pinaprocess ko talaga yung sarili
To
ko.
sit with it.
Yes.
Yes, of course. Before, I would actually, I don't know if your viewers will relate to this, but sometimes when we're kids, or even when we're growing up, a lot of people will tell you, no, you don't need to cry, don't cry.
Oh.
But now I'm like, when people ask me, are you crying? I'm like, yes, I am crying. Just like, let me be. It's okay. I'll be fine. Just need to let this
Let
out.
it out. Oo.
Kasi it'll just gets stuck up in your heart and in your mind, and that's not good. So our emotions will find different ways to allow it to flow, and sometimes they choose through tears, if not through laughter. And in that moment, you just need to let it go. You need to let it out of your system, process it, but allow yourself talaga to feel those emotions in the moment. Sit with it, yes, take as long as you need, but you have to let those emotions flow and then learn from those emotions too.
Now, curious ako, what is the meaning of success for you?
Oh my gosh. Good question. I think it's finding happiness in the things that you do, whether or not they end up as a success like what we conventionally know. But you can have a success, or you can be successful at something but not be happy at it. Would you still consider that success? I wouldn't. Like, I would find something successful if I can find joy, meaning, and purpose in what I do, even if it's not 100% perfect, even if it's
unpopular,
if it's unpopular, or even if it's like still a work in progress. What I would always equate success to is always happiness. And just like with happiness, you have your moments of sadness and you have your moments of being down. Just with success, you also have your moments where you will experience loss and you'll experience rock bottom. But it's what you do after that and how you allow those experiences to propel you to something greater that will make all the difference in life.
Do you feel successful now?
Yes.
Yes.
I do feel successful.
In love, in life, in
All of
career.
the above. All of the above.
See, guys, that this is the real winning.
Yes, that's what can happen
Totoo.
if you take everything with a grain of salt, and if you allow yourself to still look at the bright side, look at all the opportunities, because sometimes you might close yourself off and think na, no, it's this crown or it's nothing.
Yeah.
Of course, then you're immediately like sealing off all opportunities that might present themselves. But if you allow yourself to be open, like what we've experienced, we can see other avenues like hosting or having this amazing The Sama podcast, for example.
Thank you.
And it's just about mindset after that.
Yep.
It's really just about mindset.
And then also, I wanna break the stigma na parang di ba lagi nilang sinasabi love or crown. I feel like you can have both. And
True.
I did it. And with my husband now, natalo, nanalo, andyan siya, umiyak ako, and he's there. And I think if you're with the right partner, you don't need to choose.
That's true.
Diba?
You do
Ikaw
not
din
need
ba?
to
Do you feel
choose.
that?
Yes, I do feel that. My partner also now has been with me through 3 pageants of my life.
Oh,
Also.
diba? This is winning!
Yes. So it's still support and it's still love. And at the end of the day, a person who truly loves you and truly supports you will also not ask you to choose.
Yes. Amen! Talaga naman kaya tayo talaga ganun. If there's any stigma in the pageantry that you want to break, what is it and why?
There's several that are like floating around in my mind at the moment. But I think something that all of us somehow feel strongly for is that beauty queens are just things to look at, but not necessarily women who can bring something to the table, women who have a powerful voice, whose voice could then also amplify others. Because sometimes when people look at you and then find out that you're a beauty queen, parang iba na yung tingin sila.
Yeah.
Ang tingin nila sa'yo.
Oh,
Like, they think that you're just a pretty face with nothing behind it.
True.
And I mean, from all the stigmas that actually go along in pageantry, it's really that, where they really feel like, oh, she's just arm candy, but she's not something that, or not someone who could talk about something meaningful. Whereas, with all the women that we've been lucky to meet in pageantry, we experience the complete opposite. We experience other people's stories. We witness their strength and their growth and how much they can amplify voices and advocacies for the betterment of not even just the whole country, even if it's just a little section or just a little community, that already matters. And it does make a difference, if not for everyone, then at least for those few people whose lives that particular beauty queen has touched. So that's really one of the stigmas, at least, that comes to mind now. How about for you?
Yeah, I can really relate to that as well. But I think yung pinaka-stigma na gusto ko talagang i-break is that parang we are not a commodity. Na parang you have to consume. Kasi parang meron akong experience na muntik na ako ma-rape.
Oy.
Yeah, kasi parang feeling ko, akala nila, some girls are just like, they can pay you, and then, you know what I mean?
That's true. That too.
And then, I realized that not all people are the same, and then not all have the same mentality as you. And then, some people, they just think as beauty queens as a commodity that they can consume, or o kaya naman nagagamitin, or ganyan. So, I feel like yun yung pinaka gusto kong i-break. And I think nagawa ko naman yun through my journey in Big Brother.
Yes.
And sa
That's
lahat
good.
ng mga sinabi mo, I wanna also add na sa lahat sana ng mga beauty queens din out there, prove that you are not just a beautiful face, that you have also values.
Yes.
Kasi sometimes, sabi nga nila, nakakalasing ang tagumpay, fame, and power.
Mm-mm.
And maraming mga tao na nababali yung mga prinsipyo just to attain or winning a crown. And sana lahat tayo mas maging empowered in achieving that. And yun lang. Parang it's my first time saying it, pero napapansin ko kasi ngayon sa mga queens, iba na talaga yung journey ng bawat isa. But as an old queen na naman.
OG.
As an old queen, siguro iba na rin kasi yung generation ngayon. And I respect that. But sana we always use it in a better platform to inspire, to motivate, and also to learn again. So,
Yeah. Ooh, I have something else that I want to add.
Sure.
And it's that beauty queens are also human beings. Sorry, I touched the mic again. Let me do that again.
Yeah.
And it's that beauty queens are also human beings.
Yes.
Sometimes people think that we don't get tired, that everything behind the scenes goes
We're like
perfectly
Barbie.
for us. Exactly. And behind it all, we have our very bad days. Sometimes we have struggles and challenges that we don't actually tell anyone about. So it's always nice to keep that in mind when we're talking to just anyone actually, and always remind ourselves that, oh, this person is also human. They're entitled to not being 100% every day. They're entitled to sometimes feeling and looking sad because perhaps they really are going through something that we don't know about. So always, I mean, even us, we need to keep reminding ourselves of that hey, we are human too.
Totoo yan.
And also for others, oh hey, they are human as well. Let's give them a break. Let's cut them some slack and allow them to just, if they're having a bad moment, for example, perhaps not immediately go on the Facebook
Judging
bandwagon and blind post a certain person because they're just having a bad day.
Do you have any experience of that? Like specific experience na naalala mo? Kasi ako meron eh.
Yeah, all of us, I think.
Naalala ko, I was like in Palawan, just visiting a friend, and then meron akong friend na doctor, tapos nagpakamatay siya. And then I attended the funeral. Tapos ang daming tao kasi talagang sobrang heartbreaking and sobrang mabilis lang yung pangyayari. Imagine, he's a doctor and then he committed suicide. So, and then he's the happiest of our group. Sobrang unexpected talaga. Tapos that time, I was having vertigo. Like, sobrang umiiyak talaga. I was just running out of 2 hours sleep. I couldn't believe it. And then, after nun, lahat ng mga tao sa funeral, nagpa-picture sa akin.
Oh,
So, sobrang
not
parang...
the right place.
I know. So, parang hindi ko talaga kayang... alam mo yun, ang hirap i-express yung sarili ko.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what to feel. But then, parang at that point, parang feeling ko, naubos talaga yung energy ko. And then I have to decompress and I have to like not go out for maybe ilang days para lang mag-gain ulit yung energy na yun. So, meron ka din ba mga experience na ganun?
Oh yeah, definitely. Even also experienced, I think, being a blind item once. Kasi akala,
item?
I was just, hindi naman na-mention yung name or anything, but I remember someone tagged me in it.
Okay.
And then parang this person was disappointed kasi they thought that I was maldita or something. And in my head, I was like, this was during an event. And in my head, I was also like, kailan? When was I maldita? And in my head, I was like, I don't think I was. Like, sometimes it will let you think, and sometimes it could be a wake-up call for you also. Like, you retrospect and you think back, was I actually maldita in that moment? But if you feel in that moment na hindi, and those people you don't actually know, then you don't need or owe them any explanation as well. Just like you in that very vulnerable moment, you didn't owe any of those people any explanation as to what you're feeling in that moment. Because they wouldn't also understand in the moment, and it might take you so long to try and explain yourself, and it'll take energy also for you to try and explain yourself, and sometimes
And for sure, you have reasons then. And maybe
Definitely,
it's not like valid also for them, but then it's really valid for you. I remember Bea told me, sabi niya, meron daw hairstylist. Sabi niya, uy, baka naman irapan mo ko ulit. Tapos parang sabi ni Bea, kailan kita inirapan? Bakit kita inirapan? Sabi niya, kasi pinaplansya daw yung buhok, tapos nasunog daw yung dito niya. So sabi niya, ouch! So syempre, nasunog ka, di ba?
you're
So,
burned.
iirapan ka talaga. Hindi niya ma-express yung sarili niya. So parang, kaya naman pala kita nairapan kasi pinasong mo ko or napasong mo ko. So, maiirap talaga.
Oh my gosh.
So, parang mga ganong instance na sometimes wala lang context.
Yes, that's
And
so
then,
true.
may mga tao talaga may gusto na lang sila magsabi.
There are sometimes that people will take anything or any little clues completely out of context. And sometimes I like to think of something that Tom Holland said. You know Tom Holland, right? Yung Spider-Man actor. So he said, if you've got a problem with me, text me. If you don't have my number, you don't know me well enough to have a problem
Yes! That's true. Ibig sabihin, you're not my real friend.
Yeah. Also, but sometimes you don't owe everyone an explanation. That's just something that I try to also find my peace with. And you will not be liked by everyone. And that's also something you'll have to find your peace with. And that's okay. You will not be liked by everyone. You also, in turn, will not like everyone. As long as you're still kind, you're still respectful, you still move and act in good faith.
And that's it.
Kebs, that's good enough.
We have last 3 questions regarding bloom, belong, and become. So this is the first question. What's one turning point or season in your life where you felt never enough, and how did it shape you?
It would have been MUPH 2023. Like, that was my 3rd time, and back then I also had this perspective where, okay, this is my last kasi my age limit.
Yeah.
And you know, when you're really that close to the crown, like sometimes there's only 2 ladies standing. In our case, back then it was 3 of us standing. So you really just like need to reach out to the crown.
Konti
But
na
you
lang.
just really can't clinch it. Of course, that was my big turning point. And it was a turning point because what I thought was going to be my last pageant ended up being an avenue for me to join Miss Supranational, which was unexpected also in that moment. And even if Miss Supranational also ended in a runner-up position, it definitely allowed myself to get more opportunities in hosting, which I love doing. And it's been
and
going
you're
so
good at it.
Thank you.
Yes, very good at
And
it.
it's been so great also that I really think, okay, that maybe was the purpose of this journey, not necessarily to get that crown, but to at least launch myself into that other avenue, which is hosting, which I've found so much joy in. And it has allowed me to meet so many different people, go to so many different places, even to Canada.
Yes!
And very special in Canada for you, I'm sure.
Yes. And then also, you're doing the things that you love, like diving as well.
Also,
diba?
still doing that. So again, it's going back to the main core of this podcast and of this message today. It's that position, whether it be runner-up or placement, or even if you didn't get any placement, will never define you. And what I think I want to add also to that is that if you allow yourself to work on who you are outside of pageantry, it will never be a loss, but only enhance what you already have. Like for us, it was hosting. For others, it can be...
Can you repeat that?
Okay. Yes. Okay. A message that I would like to add also to everything that we said earlier is that if you work on who you are outside of pageantry, then whatever happens in pageantry will just enhance all the opportunities that you've been working on, whether that be hosting, whether or not that be having a podcast, whether or not that be being a content creator, a vlogger, whatever that may be. As long as you work on, for example, the Pau Pau outside of pageantry, you can never go wrong and you will never lose in life too. Never lose in pageantry.
Yes! That's the true winning.
Yes.
Ito
That's
naman.
true.
So for Belong, if you were to give a title or the sum up of your season right now, what would it be and why?
The sum up of my season in life would be the infinite Pau Pau.
Oh.
Because sometimes we're so hyper-focused on pageantry that we also really need like a reality check and remind us, uy, my life outside of pageantry, which is the message that we mentioned earlier. Work on yourself, work on who you are outside of pageantry also. And explore those opportunities too, and find happiness in the other things you do, however little it may seem. Because now at the moment, I'm actually focusing more on also giving back to my parents. And that wasn't something that, I mean, it's something that pageantry allowed for it to happen, but now that I'm also focusing on other things beside pageantry, now I'm also hyper focusing on that. So there's really an infinite possibilities to you and who you can become. So if you allow yourself to look past just that pageant journey, it'll open up so many possibilities to you and yourself and who you can become. So be your infinite you. That's what I would say.
Oh, yung ganda nun. Be the infinite you.
Yes.
Yeah. Ito naman last. What promise or message would you give to your future self or to someone struggling as the same challenges as us?
The promise to my future Pao is that I will never stop trying to look for opportunities to create the life that I would want, and to also create a life for my parents who've always been there.
Oh. 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 Uy, wait lang ka muna.
Kaya pa, Pao.
Ayan, game.
Thank you. You want to raw, diba? No,
This is the real Pao.
real Pao. I'm such a little emotional child. No, but it's true. I get very emotional when I talk or think about my parents. Oh my God!
Oh my God, I can really relate to it. Kasi my dad died in 2016. I was working as an OFW. And then, nung namatay siya, I have to fly back here 2 days after pa. And then recently, I lost my handler. Ako naman, parang I was so emotional to the point na hindi ko kaya maging emotional at that period of time. But what I'm trying to say is that my Q&A for Miss Grand International is I talk about my parents.
Yeah.
I remember I first joined Binibining Pilipinas 2018 every day.
Yeah.
Umiiyak lang ako nung umiiyak pag Q&A. To the point na ayoko na talagang
Mag-Q&A.
sumagot sa Q&A. And then sabi nila, paano pag yung tanong is about your dad?
Yeah.
Paano ka makakasagot?
Yes.
And then true enough, yun yung ginawa ko nung MGI 2021. Sabi ko talaga, wow, what a blessing. Parang nag-make sense lahat. And then I can really feel, ganyan talaga din ako kasi hindi ako makasagot. Kasi it's so hard to be vulnerable talaga. Sometimes parang yung mga answers na current events, masasagot natin yan. But when it comes to like deeper connection,
something personal,
yes,
something so close to your heart.
Yun talaga.
Yeah. Those are the tough ones, especially if it's connected to perhaps a painful memory like what you mentioned earlier. So I'm so sorry for that, by the way.
No, it's okay. Ikaw ba? Ano ba yung tumatakbo sa isip mo?
Yeah, no, because I'm always so emotional when I talk about my parents.
Are they here?
Yeah, they're both involved. They're both working on their health and everything. But it's always dawning on me. And maybe you had that as well, that as I grow older, as we grow older, we also realize that
they're getting older as well.
They're getting older too, that they too will not be around for long.
Yeah. We're busy growing up and that we forget that they're getting old
Growing
too.
old, exactly. So that's what this Pao is working on, so that this Pao already, but also the future Pao can also always find ways to give back. But the message that I'd like to give to my future Pao, or the promise that I'd like to give to my future Pao, is that this Pao will never stop working and exhausting the different opportunities around her to live a meaningful life, to always find a way to create a life that makes me happy and that's purposeful, not just for myself, but for the people around me. And especially to also create a life that somehow also gives back to all the gifts that her parents gave.
Oh, and
Ayan!
thank you!
Thank you.
That's perfect.
Thank
I
you
think
so
yun
much.
talaga yun. Totoo talaga.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, in everything, lahat ng success natin, magulang pa rin. Babalik at babalik pa rin talaga tayo
That's
sa
true.
home natin. And yun yung parang gusto ko ding message na sabihin tonight. Na parang sabi nga nila, ang success daw is just a split of seconds.
Yeah.
Pag nakuha mo na yung corona, lahat ng amazing things in your life, it's just gonna be seconds. But what will matter is the people who love you,
You're so
you
right,
love, and the journey that happens to you.
Mm-mm.
And lahat tayo ng mga queens, naramdaman natin yon. When we're winning, we're up there. Who is the reason or the why we are here today.
Exactly.
And those are the people that are important. So hug that person right now. So I want to
I'll
hug
hug
you
you.
right. Yeah, thank you so much for doing this.
Hello to all the Sambra Nation and Sambayanan.
Yeah.
Is that it right? Yes, if you're not following me yet, you can follow me also on Instagram. It's at Pauline Amelinckx. I'm also a little bit on TikTok, just a little bit.
Yeah.
And also follow me on my public Facebook page, Pauline Amelinckx. I keep everyone that's following me updated with my little hosting vlogs,
Yes.
my little Hey You, Pow Pow Here's.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can connect there as well and stay in touch with each other's journeys.
Yeah. Kaya naman, Sambra Nation, Sambayanan, thank you so much for joining us today. And always remember, you are not behind, you are becoming. Bye! Woo!